In our culture, we've created an entire network of false personas. Here's what I mean by that. We look at social media, we look at stories that we watch online, we look at stories that we often tell. And the truth is that we often tell a false narrative. We like to say that everything is great. In fact, I want to challenge you to look at this. If I were to come up to you and ask you, hey, how are things going today? Most likely your response would be, man, it's great. And then here's what inevitably happens immediately after I would ask that question and you respond, yeah, everything's great. You will then turn around and ask me, well, how are things going for you? And of course, I'm going to say, yeah, everything's great. This is what we've done. We've created a false narrative. And I just wonder, what would it look like if one time that if someone were to ask you, how are things going, and you weren't having a great day, what would happen if maybe you were actually honest for once? How are things going? Hey, you know what? I'm not having a really good day. Immediately, when you are honest and authentic, it starts to lower walls. It starts to drop down the tension and anxiety when someone's trying to have a conversation and trying to get to know you. There's something that we desire as humans that is real and authentic and raw. I've learned this in my ministry that the most honest and real and authentic version that I can be, people connect to that more often. The problem is that we have this society and this culture that is infatuated with perfection. And because all we see is perfect, all we try to do and be is perfect. But when I look at the story of Jesus, and Jesus specifically, I look at his lineage, there are some messy memories in the lineage of Jesus. I think about the story of Judah and Tamar. And if you go back and take a look at that story, it is messy. It is a messy story that actually leads to, when you look at Jesus's lineage, the bloodline of Jesus actually coming to fruition. And so what I want you to understand is this, is that all of us have some messy moments in our life. Things that we're not proud of, things that we wish we could forget. But here's what I also know, because it's been a part of my story as well, is that the messier moments God has typically used to be my ministry in my life. I think about my father leaving my family and how that's really turned my heart to be able to connect to people that are walking through divorce or maybe young men and women that have been products of divorce. I've been able to minister to them. I think about other mistakes that I've made, maybe in my finances or even in relationships that I've had. And those messes that I've created, I created them. God has turned them around and now used them for some of the greatest ministry that I'm able to do. I see that play out in Judah and Tamar's story and how it connects directly to our Savior, Jesus. I see the messy moments of their life and even the messy background of our Savior come to a place of a miracle with Jesus' birth and what he then brought to me and to you, which is salvation. You have a story to tell. And the truth is, if you're being honest, it's not always so great. And I wonder today if you would be honest about the things that you've walked through, the moments that maybe you would like to forget, or maybe even the moments that have marked you. I know for me that my greatest ministry comes from the things that have marked me the most. I wonder if a part of your story, if you could be honest and real, if the story you would tell is not so picture perfect like you've been telling the world, and how others might be able to connect to that and it really matter.